right, everyone, welcome back in. Saturday Vibes. We got our week 2 college preview. Minus John this week. Tyrone's here. Jordan's here. Tyrone, how you feeling, bud?
Feeling good. Week 2. I'm excited to see what Louisville does this week. Excited for what they showed last week. Honestly, I'm just glad that we saw a lot of stuff this week at college football, man. It was a great week. Texas, Ohio State. It just feels good to be back.
Yeah. I mean, Texas, Ohio State, really good game, really defensive heavy. And then you had, South Carolina, Virginia Tech was good.
Mm-hmm.
We got that LSU Clemson game was really good at the end of the night.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of great games over week 1. I mean,
a lot of surprises, man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of surprises. Miami is the main one.
Yeah.
That's a big surprise game right there.
Maybe TCU, North Carolina on Monday. I mean,
yeah.
ESPN did not have to roast that man with the last completed pass at a certain time. Come on now.
I mean, that's bad. I feel bad for Bill Belichick. I mean, that was my only game notes for them last week with Belichick. And honestly, when they first started out that first half, talk about, wow. I mean, made it think that they were going to be dominant. This is actually going to work for Belichick. He's actually going to be a good coach, which he still will. It's early. It's week 1. I think he just kind of realized college football is not going to be as easy as if he thought it was going to be easy. And a lot of coaches said that when they saw that he was coming back, they're one to pour it on him because they want him to know it's not easy. Just because you come from the NFL, he is the GOAT coach of the NFL, with Vince Lombardi. But college is completely different. I mean, the landscape's always changing with player personnel. I mean, you don't know what to think about with TCU. You don't know what players they have. I mean, their quarterback was a returner, but I mean, TCU-wise, they didn't know what they were going to go against. And I think it shows how good of coaching, Sonny Dykes is with being able to – I mean, what would you expect Bill Belichick to run with North Carolina? His quarterback was a running quarterback. I mean, that's all they know. So how do you scheme against that other than just, hey, we just got to contain this quarterback? And, man, you already mentioned they contained him. I mean, in the pass for a whole 2 hours. I mean –
yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's hard it does speak to Sonny Dykes and coaching because, I mean, you had a whole new coach and then a whole new roster. So it's not, you're going off of stuff, which is what I know we've reiterated multiple weeks in a row. We can't really, this week and next week, we're really going to be able to deep dive into, this is what teams actually look like and whatnot. So, but yeah, after a good week 1, we've got, we got a good slate week 2 coming up. We'll hit on that recap with that EKU Louisville game. You all came out, did what you were supposed to do. Think you gave up some late points and whatnot, but I mean, it was 35-0 real quick, 40-something-0.
It was. I believe I was at the game. We got on to them really quick. I think we had the punt return for a touchdown. We had all I can say is Isaac Brown. Isaac Brown, too fast, Brown. 2 touchdowns on 6 carries, 126 yards. That's just ridiculous. But yeah, we got out there on them pretty early, pretty quick. And then their first score, it was a bad pass. Miller Moss was just trying to hit, I believe it was Chris Bell on a little hitch, and it was just way too high for him. Chris Bell went up to try to grab it, and he tipped it in the air. DB was right there for it and returned it for a touchdown. So, honestly, defensively, I mean, I'll go ahead and give a rundown of the game if you want a little quick highlights of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a 51-17 score. EKU covered the spread of 38.5. I was so close to getting that, which I think if we didn't allow, obviously, that pick 6, we would have been fine. But we did get the over of 57.5. Isaac Brown, that's all I have to say is just Isaac Brown looked great with just 6 carries. I'm actually glad he didn't have to carry the ball any more than that. If we can do that this week with JMU, just let him keep running the ball 6 times, 10 times. And then if we get that score and we put him away early, sit him because we got a long year and a lot more bigger games to kind of bigger fish to fry is the saying, Miller Moss is accurate. Dude's going to be, I hope he continues to do it this week because he was putting that ball wherever he wanted it to go and in the right places. He had a beautiful down pass to Duke Watson in the back of the end zone, I believe like a little wheel route. He caught that, and I was just like, dang, that was like the perfect ball. I mean, he was open, but that was like the perfect ball for him to get it right over his shoulder. The D-line was massive. I said it last week with Clev Lubin. He has to be a dog, and he was a dog. He came out there, and I think he had 2 sacks. I believe it was 2 sacks he had. We had other guys step up defensively. The secondary really wasn't tested. Like I said, they probably weren't going to be tested with those receiving core. It's no shame to EKU or anything, but it's just like it's different levels to this. And Louisville's defensive line was very overwhelming for their offensive line. That quarterback was running for his life, and he's probably still feeling it from last week because whenever Clev Leuven comes off the edge like that, and he literally did a scorpion as he was getting sacked. I'm surprised he held on to the ball. I'm surprised he didn't have whiplash. He probably does, but that guy's definitely feeling it still. Defense really only gave up 10 points, field goal, and then I believe they had 1 score at the end of the second half, which it was a dominant first half for us, and it was a free-for-all for the second half. I mean, we were putting in different guys. We had Deuce Adams out there. Bailey went out there, which I don't know how I felt about that because he had an interception, which I'll be the fan to tell you. I left at halftime. My mom went with me, and she got a little hot out there, so we left early. So, but I didn't get to see that performance and see how that interception happened. But I don't like seeing the interception for my number 2 quarterback. But hey, getting reps, game reps, that's all that matters. I think this was an overall dominant performance by Louisville. Got some stuff to clean up for JMU because from everything I'm hearing about JMU and the message boards that they got going, they really, truly believe this is going to be their game to lose and that they're going to dog us. So it's time to BTA, belt to ass. So
only thing I was bring up about former Kentucky safety Vito Tisdale with 2 interceptions, and he had that pick 6.
Yep.
That dude, he's from down here, Bowling Green.
Nice. Well, I mean, good for him. You got to have something to remember from your college playing days, especially playing against Louisville, and you went to Kentucky. I'm sure he's a Kentucky fan, so I'm sure that made him feel even 10 times better, especially when you're getting shellacked like that. So, hey, something to remember. Nice interception.
Yeah. Let's see. We can hit into Kentucky, obviously. Played Toledo, favorite to win the MAC last week. Overall, it started not super impressed with the offense. I did like our O-line is a lot better. I mean, considerably a lot better. And our D-line, I mean, Souls and Afari and all these guys that they brought in, man, they were very dominant up front, getting to the quarterback. I mean, Tucker Gleason really had not a lot of time to set his feet, make any progressions. It led to the 1 interception, quick throw that I forgot who jumped. JQ Hardaway was able to jump in front of and snag that. So I mean, that's very promising as long as that O-line and D-line are improved like that. Still questioning Calzada. Stoops says, it's too early to pull the plug. I mean, it might be, but you can't have like 76 passing yards in a game in the SEC.
Yeah.
It won't cut it. So I hope to see a better game from him this week, maybe airing it out a little bit more. The defense was good to the fourth quarter. They've been out there quite a lot. There was a lot of 3-and-outs and short drives from the offense. So I don't give them too much crap for that. But, they always end up playing those SEC teams better than those, what is it, mid-major. Probably the wrong one. Group of 5. There we go.
Group of 5 teams, yeah.
Group of 5 teams. So, I mean, 124-17. That ending score is a lot closer than what it was because they scored very late in the fourth quarter to make it that. So, I mean, had some explosive runs and 75-yard touchdown run by Dowdell. So, I was impressed. It was a good week 1. Obviously, there's stuff to clean up. It was a good opponent. So, Especially when everyone was picking us to lose. It was like the group of five upset of the weekend. So
you guys definitely looked like it was going to be one. It definitely kind of stemmed on that borderline of like what the heck is going on. But yeah, I mean, you got the job done. Toledo is not a slouch. So I mean, that was a good week one opponent, honestly. Like we said last week, preseason wise, like your preseason game should be against lower teams like the EKUs. You guys played a legit. Okay, not legit. You played a good team to say like this is a good team, group of 5 team. They're in the MAC. They're usually competitive in the MAC.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
24 is not bad, man.
Yeah, I'll take it. I just want to see some better things in the passing game.
Yeah.
Gotta get them involved early and whatnot. So and ball security. I really use the tight ends more. I like Willie Rodriguez. He fumbled that ball, did not tuck it away, inexcusable. So
yeah,
that's that recap. So let's see. What are the other games from week one? We have 15.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I took week one as well as I took week 0.
Yeah.
I went 11-4. Both you and John went 10-5. So I've got a nice 2-game lead going into week 2 here.
Yeah, I got to step it up. Like I said, the UNC game really threw me off. As Sonny Dykes is a good coach, led his team to a college football championship where they got blown out. But I was like, there's no way you can scheme against Bill Belichick. And if you did scheme against him, he's a good enough coach to, change up where he needs to. And his son's the defensive coordinator, which he's probably looking at his son like, give up 50 points. Gave up 50 points. All right. So hopefully they have a little talk and they do a little bit better because that definitely hurt the ACC. But the ACC overall in week 1 really showed up. I feel like they showed up. Georgia Tech beating Colorado. We all picked that one. The Clemson LSU game. That one, I feel like Clemson should have won. So it's kind of rough. But it's all good. South Carolina dogged Virginia Tech as well. So it was a rough 2 games for ACC in those aspects, but they definitely show that hey, we're no slouch. The ACC is going to be good this year. We're going to be something to reckon with. And Miami showed that by beating Notre Dame, which I was still cheering on Notre Dame because I'm not a big Miami fan. I don't really like them, but
I'm not either. But flip it over to SEC. What about how many weeks does Kalen DeBoer make it into this season?
Oh God, man! If you ask an Alabama fan, he should have already been gone before the start of his career there. So honestly, Alabama, man, I don't know what to think about that because they didn't look organized. They didn't look like Alabama. You can see those clips on X now and see like players loafing to the ball. That's what we call, coaching wise. Like when we see a player not hustling to the ball, it's a loaf, and you run for that at practice. If I see that and he's a pretty good player for the guy that is like somebody said, this is the guy that's a 90 overall on college football 26. All right, maybe college football needs to reevaluate him, or Kalen DeBoer needs to reevaluate his whole team, his staff, maybe his philosophy, because a lot of fans were calling in to some of the shows this week and we're just going off saying he wants to be best friends with them, and we can't be best friends. We need them boys to play. And dude, there's a blind guy who called into the show and he said, I'm gonna put pizza. I work at a pizza shop and I wash dishes and I like to listen to the game, but I can't even listen anymore. You're telling me it's that bad a blind guy doesn't even want to listen to the games anymore. So I think that just tells you how this whole experience with Kalen DeBoer is going. And I think last year, I don't say he's riding the coattails of what Nick Saban had, but when he left, with Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams. But man. And to throw it in there even more, Ryan Williams left the game early. That's not good. Hopefully it was just like a little mild concussion. Hopefully no concussion, just jarred him a little bit. Hopefully he's back. But, They got
there was a lot of drops from those receivers too, including Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams dropped a lot of balls early.
Yeah.
That's
what did not look good to me. He did not look good.
I mean, just looking at their schedule, they got Wisconsin coming in week 3, and then they go to Georgia. You could be looking at 1-3.
Yeah. Well, that's what the fans were saying. They said they can be 4-8 for the whole year, and I was like, 4-8, calm down. It's not that bad. But then when you, like you just did, when you go through that schedule, Wisconsin's no slouch. I mean, they'll probably win that one, but they're no slouch. They're going to give you a fight. And then you got Georgia. Who else do they have on their schedule? I mean,
so it goes from that Georgia game, then Vanderbilt, which they lost to last year. It is at home, but still, I mean,
questionable. I mean,
that you can't mark that game as a win anymore with how we saw Alabama play and how Vanderbilt played last year and putting up a ton of offense in that week 1 game.
Yeah.
Then they got Missouri, Tennessee, at South Carolina. You get LSU and Oklahoma back-to-back weeks at home, and then Eastern Illinois and Auburn.
See, man. I mean, Auburn in the year is at home.
It's at Auburn.
At Auburn. So right there off the bat, I mean, you're going to lose. You're probably going to lose to Georgia.
Yeah.
Tennessee's going to be I think Tennessee will take care of business. Vanderbilt's the one I'm thinking. It's still Vanderbilt. I think last year it kind of, I don't know, it was just the perfect storm for Vandy at that point. You had Daniel Pavier. Nobody could really guard what he was doing. Now you have a year of film on him. You kind of know what you need to change defensively. Now, offensively, I think they did well in that game. I feel like it was a high-scoring game, was it not?
Yeah, they put up quite a few numbers.
Yeah, so I feel like defensively, you just got to scheme that a little bit better. But when you go, Oklahoma, and you got all those games back to back, and it's just like, I don't know, man. This could be a very short trip for Kalen DeBoer. He's still a good coach, man. It's just you got to find.
He could have stayed in Washington, built a perennial playoff team in the expanded playoff.
They would have been in the Big Ten, and I think he still would have did well in the Big Ten. Like, I'm pretty sure if he stayed there, he would have got some good West Coast kids to stay out there. Instead of going to Oregon, they would have went to Washington because Washington just came off that big year. But instead, he went to Alabama, and those West Coast kids, they see it as a rivalry. They don't want to go to Alabama. I mean, Alabama's huge, but they want to go to Alabama when it's Nick Saban. No slide to Kalen DeBoer, but you're not Nick Saban. So those West Coast kids aren't going to go to Alabama for you. So they stayed out there and went to Oregon. They went to Oregon State. They went to UCLA. They went to USC. But if you would have stayed to Washington, like you just said, they might have let's go up there. Let's go with Kalen DeBoer. He knows what he's doing. And, yeah, man, I mean, it's the same thing with Charlie Strong. The fit matters more than how good of a coach you are. You can be a great coach, but if you just don't fit with that team, with that program, then it's not going to work. Charlie Strong worked perfectly here because he got the Florida kids, wanted to buy in and come up to Kentucky, and we did great with them. He held on to the Florida that whole entire area. But when you go to Texas don't want Florida kids. They want Texas kids to be at Texas. So,
and if you don't have that pipeline and you haven't recruited that Texas area, you got to rebuild it all together, or have a staff that has the knowledge and the experience out there. So, I mean, I did see that his buyout is not a lump sum. It is monthly payments from when he's fired, just take whatever's left, divide it by, I think it's to like 2029 or something, December 2029. Yeah. So it's like 4.5 years, basically. So at that point, it becomes a line item on the budget, and it could be easier to let him go when you don't have to come up with $70 million at one point.
I think whoever, I mean, it's probably the AD. The AD has to be pretty smart to know what he's doing, to get the basketball coach they had, and to have Nick Saban as long. He knows what he was doing when we made that contract. Hey, buddy, you showed what you can do at Washington, but this is Alabama and this is SEC. So that's why he fit that in there. So it was smart. You don't have to pay a lump sum. You're not like what coaches gave out the lifetime contract to Tennessee.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with these teams giving out lifetime contracts? Come on now.
I mean, Rick Barnes' lifetime contract might only last like 4 years. That dude is ancient.
Yeah, it's going. Maybe they did that because they know he's going to retire after this year. I feel like this is his retirement tour. We're giving you a lifetime contract because you can always come back for the rest of your life, but not as our coach. That's what that is. Yeah, he may go to like a GM role, or you know how.
What Calipari was supposed to do at Kentucky before.
Exactly. Until
Camelot fell and
until somebody chased him down when he was walking his dog. So.
Hey, he chose to live downtown.
Yeah, that was stupid. Yeah.
It was fine until it wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, I can also say it probably speaks more to Florida State. We gave Castellano some shit for.
We did. We hammered him last week.
Yeah, for running his mouth, and hey, I'll give him his props. He ran his mouth and he stood on business. So, hey, Florida State may be legit. They may be good. I mean, you beat an Alabama team. Alabama, no matter who's, what's going on there, they're still no slouch. And for Castellanos to still go out there, he was making passes. He wasn't just running the ball. He had some good passes out there. So we'll see what they do for the rest of the year. But Florida State may be something to reckon with in the ACC too. So.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit them in a few weeks, see what they're looking like. So we can get into – I did make one error. I had us all – we all had Clemson, and I had that as green, so I adjusted it. So I'm 19-6. You all are 17-8.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Week 2.
All green this week. All green, baby.
Yeah. Let's see. All right, week 2, we start out James Madison and Louisville tonight. Recording this on a Friday this week.
Yeah.
So I'll know what I'll be watching.
Yeah. I mean, I am a fan of it when I'm not a coach and I have a game to coach myself, so I will not be able to watch or attend this game. Maddie's still going to go and support Louisville for me, so hopefully my team can bounce back because we did take a loss last week, first one in almost 2 years. So we're going to try to bounce back this week in our high school game. But JMU week, we last played them, a couple years ago in 2023, won that game 34-10. I had the utmost respect for JMU, but from seeing the messaging board, seeing Twitter, seeing everything that they're saying about this game and how much hype they're giving it and saying like this is their game to lose. Okay. All right. So here's the fun facts for JMU. We're a 14.5 favorite for this game. Thing that tells you JMU how everybody thinks about you is a 55.5 over under. I think this is going to be an over game. But anyways, JMU, they began football in 1972. They moved to the FCS really quickly in 1980. Again, we're playing another FCS, team that has 2 championships in the FCS. They won in 2004 and in 2016. So they're pretty good in the FCS. They're usually up there with the, South Dakotas, North Dakotas, and whatnot. But they're known as the Dukes because of a former president, Samuel Page Duke, of their school. They were successful in joining the FBS in 2022. Their biggest win was back in 2010 when they beat Virginia Tech, which it was a very huge win back then, but I don't think that Virginia Tech team was actually good. They're mainly known because of Coach Ignetti. Like my man said in his press conference, Google me. He wins. He does not lie. He won. He's the first and only coach to start 10-0 at 2 different programs. He did 10-0 at JMU in 2024. 2024. And then last year, 10-0 with Indiana. So, this coach that they have now, he's a good coach. He seemed like he's got this program still going where they need to be. They have 9 conference championships overall, FCS and, what they're doing in the Sun Belt right now. Like I mentioned before, we last played them in 2023. We won 34-10. Speaking on their team, their quarterback, Alonzo Barnett III. Last year, he had pretty good stats. I mean, he had 2,600 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 7 rushing. I believe he did end up having an injury that year, if I'm not mistaken, or the year before. So he's coming, off a, leg injury, which that's something, you always want to worry about, especially with a quarterback who uses his legs like he does. And it looks like he uses his legs still this year. Their running back, is seen as a top running back. I mean, he's actually probably offensive player of the year for the Sun Belt. Probably one of those guys that if they, lose us and then go on a run and end up being like 11-1 at the end of the year, win the Sun Belt, they could still potentially get in as one of those at-large teams in the college football playoffs. And it will be because of George Pettaway. I mean, he had 980 yards last year, 5 touchdowns. It doesn't seem that big, but I mean, this year he's been looking really good. I believe he just had under 100 yards in their last game.
99.
99, yeah, just under it. Receiver-wise, it's right now their leader in the receiving room from last week is just a freshman, so he has no stats from last year. Michael Scott, paper company man right there. 4 catches, 38 yards. I didn't really look into their defense that much. I'm give respect to these teams, and I would never disrespect a team. Like, we need to go out there, we need to execute. Miller Moss needs to go out there and continue to be accurate. I think, like I said before, Isaac Brown's probably going to get, if he does what he did last week, 6 touches is all he needs. That's fine with me, but I can see him very well getting 10 to 15 touches. We need Duke Watson to have a better performance rushing wise. He only had 2 carries last week for 2 yards, and we need to see him in the mix too, because we need to give them a heavy dose of the run game, show them their defensive line is not better than our offensive line, and vice versa. Our defensive line is better than their offensive line. So we need to go out there and be dominant in the trenches. We need to show them who our workhorse is, and that's Isaac Brown. We need to show them that Chris Bell is too fast, too big, too strong, and just go and dog these guys, because they are coming. They are coming to show the world that they want to be in the college football playoffs. They're not just small JMU who's the fighting Signettis. They're the fighting Dukes, and they're going to put up a fight. I just hope we knock them out in the first quarter. So,
yeah, building that big. I mean, that helped last week. That's how y'all got built that big lead. You're able to rotate quite a few guys. Save Isaac Brown.
Yep.
Will say they had no sacks last week against Weber State. That
is alarming.
That's alarming.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they did have 3 interceptions from that back in the secondary, all from safeties. So, I mean, Miller Moss threw 2 interceptions last week. So
fluky. I'd say the first one was really on him. He needs to lower the pass a little bit. Maybe there was miscommunication on the route depth or whatever. And the second one, honestly, I thought it was a great catch by Antonio Meeks, and it was like one of those rattled through his arms, went to his legs, and he kicked it up with his foot, and the safety was just like, oh, thanks. I was like, oh, my gosh, are you serious? I thought it was going to be an ESPN top 10 catch, but
one of those crazy plays you see in college football video games that you're like, that doesn't happen in real life. And
that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. So
ball protection, throwing the ball, that's going to be the biggest thing, because it doesn't look like they have much of a pass rush if they got no sacks last week. So
I think, we'll be able to do what we need to do against this defense. And then on our defensive side, we just need to be able to contain the quarterback. We need to make sure we're getting some penetration in the middle and making that running back have to make a quick decision. And our running linebackers are going to be right there in any hole he decides to go through, if there's going to be any holes, because I think this line is just going to be dominant. So we need to have a dominant performance. We need to have another 50-10, 40 to whatever. We need to have another dominant win.
Yeah. On the flip side, Kentucky is still at home.
Yep.
We got Ole Miss at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know Lane Kiffin wants that taste of last year's loss out of his mouth. Still really crazy. We beat a top 6 team on the road last year with how bad we actually were. I mean, Kentucky coming off the heels, this 24-16 win over Toledo. Saw some good things with the run game, O-line. We touched on that earlier. We gave up 270 yards passing to Tucker Gleason. I think a lot of those were, there's a lot of those might have been like dink and dunks. There was a few 39 yards, 20-something yard passes, but all in all, I'm happy with the defense. Brad White has that side of the ball ready to play every single year. Just got to get more in the passing game going. hopefully we get that this week. We got Ole Miss. That's what we got here. They only gave up 260 yards last week, 69 yards passing. So, I mean, that secondary looks, rough. So, might not be the best for, Calzada to come out and try and whip the ball around. But we'll see. They did give up 295 yards rushing. So, that bodes well for that offensive line and those two backs that we've got that transferred in. I mean, flying on the edge of my seat, this is John's game to cover. So kind of didn't really look too far into this one. But I got a good feeling about this one. They got the spread at 10.
Yeah.
This might have been a couple days ago. I think it's down to like 8.5 right now. I think we could probably cover. I don't know if we'll be able to win. But yeah, I got Ole Miss to win.
Yeah, I got Ole Miss to win that game. I mean, it's a home game. That's the big positive for Kentucky in this. I mean, it kind of just depends on who turns out here, like fan-wise. Fans come out to actually support and to make this a hard atmosphere for Ole Miss. If not, man, it's just going to be another home game or practice for Ole Miss. If it's not going to be loud, it's not going to be, a hostile environment for them. They're just going to sit back and do what they do. It's Lane Kiffin. He knows what he's doing. He knows Kentucky. So I think Ole Miss will – honestly, I think it'll be a tight game. If the spread is 10, I can very well see it being like a 30-24, 35-21 game. But it's just offensively, man, I just do not believe in Kentucky's offense.
Yeah, the thing, looking at the stats from last week, it gives me hope is if we can run the ball effectively, I think that score is going to end up being lower. I think we could see another 2017 type game, 21, 17, something like that. I mean, I saw a video this morning from KSR, and they were talking about Lane Kiffin's comments yesterday. Some kind of backhanded, some not. The biggest one stuck out is he said, you can't take a Mark Stoops team and what they did last week and think it's going to be the same the next week.
No, hell no. Yeah.
He's like, they could have played, great and then crap, or crap then great. Is like, you can't take anything with that. But then he was like, they hit probably the hardest in the SEC. And we've done that for years. So the physical defense. So, I mean, yeah, I got Ole Miss to win. I don't want them to, but we'll see how that goes. John had Kentucky. And we skipped over the fact that we all took Louisville for the JMU game for tonight. So my bad on that one.
No, you're good.
All right, next, WKU versus Toledo. Very familiar opponent when I was looking up this one.
Yeah.
And then also very familiar because I've been checking out these Hilltoppers down here a little bit more this year. So when in Bowling Green, adapt to the new team sometimes. Let's see, Maverick McIver for WKU, 69.5% completion rating, 706 passing yards, and 8 touchdowns on the season. And we saw Toledo last week. Gleason will probably have a better day. WKU's defense won't get to him as easily. They've only got 4 sacks in their first 2 games, and then last one was against North Alabama. They only got 1 last week, so it's a little hesitant on the front 4 there. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to take WKU with the upset on the road, just because that offense looks really good. Yeah. And if you can sling it, I mean, I think their scheme might work better than Kentucky's in the passing game. I don't think Calzada missed a lot of guys, either short or long. I don't think McIver is going to do that. I don't think – or here's what I meant to say. I don't think Toledo's defense secondary is as good as what they might have seemed last week with Calzada struggling to be accurate.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. It's more of a player personnel kind of thing. It's not just the secondary look good. I think I'm gonna go with WKU as well. Just on the sole fact it's Bowling Green. WKU, they always have that same kind of – it feels like they're always the same team, no matter who their coach is. They're going to air that ball out. That quarterback's going to throw 30 passes and at least go get 300 yards. I think WKU pulls this out. It is on the road, but I think they'll pull it out, and I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. Do you know
the line is Toledo by 7.5.
What's the over-under?
I did not write that one down. Hold on, I'll get it. But yeah, they do always kind of have the same aired out.
Tom was there when Petrino was there. I mean, they still had that same kind of offensive flow.
Over under 58.5.
Yeah, I can see the over. I can take the over on that.
Yeah. So, and then we got John Toledo.
Yeah, he's got to be the anomaly there.
Yeah. Next one, I'll flip it over to you. Illinois and Duke. I think is that at Duke?
It is at. Let's see. Yeah, it is at Duke. It is at Duke. Really don't know what to think of both of these teams. I mean, Illinois. We kind of mentioned this earlier. I didn't know Illinois was actually ranked going into the season or what their portal additions looked like coming into the year, but. I mean, they're not looking bad. They had a win against Western Illinois. It was 52-3. So it's just like Louisville with EKU, just working out the kinks, getting the flow of things, getting the feel of things. I think this is going to be a good test to see if they deserved that high of ranking, and then what Duke has to offer, because Duke didn't look good in their home opener. I know the score may say, oh, they blew them out, but the score at halftime was 10-10. Yes, they did go on to win, ultimately 45-17 against Elon, but Elon usually puts up a good fight against some teams. You usually see them against like Ohio State or Duke, mostly North Carolina, those kind of teams, and they will put up a good fight. But I think it's going to come down to how Duke's quarterback play is, because they do have Messiah. I believe he's a throwing quarterback. He did have 389 yards, 3 touchdowns. That stat looks good. But like I said, it took a little while for them to get things going. And I think Illinois will jump onto that fact. And I think Illinois has their offensive flow. They're running back, 100 yards, two touchdowns, quarterback play looking good. They got their go-to receiver. I'm going with the Fighting Alumni here. I think they will get the job done. I would love the ACC to pull this off. I want the ACC, like I said before, I want them to look good. I just don't think they got the dogs for this right now. Unless Messiah comes out there, 389 yards is no slouch. If he comes out there and it's a home game and they tossing that thing around, and they probably could pull off the upset. But right now, my feeling is going towards Illinois here. Let me get that spread for you. Right now, it is 2.5 spread for Illinois. Over under is 49.5. I'm definitely going to pull for the under here. I think with how Duke's playing, slow, or at least getting off to a slow pace, and Illinois having a good defense and not. I think it's going to be low scoring, but I think Illinois is going to win this.
Yeah, John took Illinois with you. I'm going to roll with Duke. I do like Messiah, whatever his last name is. I know he was at Tulane last year with John Summerall, so and he was good down there too. He was in a lot of good games last year, so I know he's got the ability to do it. I just think a noon game, they're at home, Illinois on the road and traveling, and then getting up super early for that one. Might have them have a slow start, So I'm rolling with Duke. I won't say that come basketball season, but I think Duke might be able to pull off the upset. I think, first half was getting their feet wet last week. Now they've had extra days to prep. That was a Thursday night game, I believe it was. And so, they've had some more days of rest. They're ready to go.
Make your case, Jordan. Dang, make your case. It's good points. It is a lot more rest. They get to fix some stuff from last week so they don't start out slow. So I can definitely see Duke winning it. So I would not be shocked if it is a Duke win. I'll stick with Illinois for now. I won't be a flip flopper. I'll stick with Illinois, but I could see Duke winning this for sure.
Yeah. Next, we got Virginia and NC State. So Virginia beat Coastal Carolina last week pretty handedly.
Yep.
NC State's, I forgot who they played.
They struggled with their game, from what I heard. They struggled. It ended up being a win again. It's like one of those first half slow plays, but they end up pulling it off.
Were they played week 0 also?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should be 2-0, I believe.
Better prep on my end. Oh, this one was John's.
Yeah. No, you're good. They played Eastern Carolina week 1, and then or week 0, and then they have a game week 1. So they're sitting at 1-0.
1-0. They've had 2 weeks of rest basically going into this one. Virginia.
It was Eastern Carolina, who's usually a good team. So they're usually putting up a fight against these Carolina teams. So I'll give them a pass on that. But I don't know. Virginia's not really that good either. It's crazy that they're doing a conference game this early on. But yeah, I don't know. Did he give you a little way to state his case, or is he just going with the
No, you got the same idea where it's like, y'all do it without me this week. So, I mean, 4.5 spread, over under 53.5, 4.5 in favor of NC State, which is wild. I'm just looking at that. I know ESPN Analytics has Virginia as a 51% favorite to win, but then their sports book has NC State as a 4.5 point favorite. Really, I mean, I don't know what to make of this. I know Virginia year in, year out, usually they're okay, but they're not great.
Now, they're the doormat of the ACC the last couple of years. From that year, they had that, tragic shooting. It was horrible. After that, it just hasn't been really good. I mean, they'll put up a fight. Like you said, they'll put up a fight regardless, but they're just not – they just can't get a full 4 quarters going. So I got NC State.
Yeah, looking at their just quick rundown of just their season leaders from that one game last week for Virginia. Morris, as their quarterback, had 264 passing yards. 124 of those went to Ross, who had 7 receptions and a touchdown. So pretty much one receiver had almost half of his passing yards. He was also the leading rusher with 50 yards, which on 5 carries, which tells me they don't have much of a rushing attack. And so I'm rolling with, I think all 3 of us took NC State in this one. Not really much of, it's at NC State new game. I think we can all agree there that it's not going to be much of a I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. That spread's a lot closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Here we go. So we got Baylor, SMU coming off the heels. Baylor getting ran through by Auburn last week, and then SMU coming off the heels of a FCS win over East Texas A&M, where SMU rushed for 140 yards. Not too eye-popping, but Baylor could not stop Auburn from running the football. They gave up 307 rushing yards last week. That was astonishing. I was just watching that game. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But if SMU can take advantage of the run game and then helps open up the passing game, because their quarterback's pretty decent at Jennings, I think is his name, down at SMU. He's no slouch. He can throw the ball around. If they can they could alleviate a lot of passing pressure by forcing the ball, running it. So that's the case. I got SMU. John has SMU. What about you?
I think I stuck with SMU as well. I think we all 3 kind of went with SMU just from what Baylor looked like last week. Again, it's week 0, week 1. We kind of don't know much on these teams yet with the transfer portal and everything changing. I think that says more about Baylor than it does Auburn at this point. So I'm going SMU.
Yeah. Usually defense is a lot more there than the offense. So seeing that defense that bad in week 1, kind of alarming there.
Wet napkin right there. Wet napkin.
Next, the board. I think it's the border war. Kansas and Missouri.
Yes.
You got that one. What you got?
All right. So Kansas, Missouri. Kansas is 2-0 right now. They played week 0 and week 1. So they're heavy into their season already. 2 wins. I mean, not against crazy good opponents. I mean, week 0 was against Fresno, the Fighting EJ Warners. They ended up winning both of these games, 46-7 against Wagner last week, and then 31-7 against Fresno in week 0. One thing it is standing out to me is Daniels, their quarterback, is playing a little bit better. He has 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. Run game is looking good. I know Daniels is involved in that run game as well. He's sitting with, like I just said, 456 yards passing, but he's also utilizing his legs a little bit. It's not like crazy stats, but I mean, he's got 60 yards rushing on 11 carries. So he's going to use those legs in this game. But Missouri, I mean, they're SEC for, their SEC team here. They're having a good year last year. I feel like they had a good year. They ended good at least, beating Iowa, beating Arkansas, beating Mississippi State. But quarterback play for them is pretty solid. Prabula, I believe is how you say his name. 23 of 28 in their first game against Central Arkansas.
Yeah.
It was 61-6. So, yes, that's a tune-up game. Yes, you can say, they're playing against different kind of dogs this week. Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of hype. It's a border bowl game for them, but I think Missouri's going to come out on top here. They got the spread at 6.5. Over under is at 50.5. I think this will be an over game just because Kansas offense can score, Missouri's offense can score, obviously. And I think Missouri's going to get it going early. Kansas will have a couple touchdowns going in there, but I think it's going to be an overall dominant performance by Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, I just looking at this, obviously Pribula probably didn't play most of that game, but still had 283 yards, maybe in like a half of football. So I mean,
accuracy. I mean, 328. I mean, sheesh.
Yeah. So I'm going with Missouri. John did the same. At the end of the day, I think they're just going to be too much for Kansas. But honestly, I also wouldn't be surprised if Kansas wins.
Yeah. I mean, Missouri's liable to have that slip-up game like they usually do. They always do. Mm-hmm. And it is very well could be that slip-up game. But Kansas just, I don't know. There's just something about Kansas. I think Daniels is a good quarterback. I just don't know if he's, like, going to be effective enough in this game, like elite enough, like is his supporting cast elite enough to do this? Because the defense of Missouri is really good, and I just don't think they have the dogs for this kind of fight. So
yeah, I feel like Daniels was really good a couple years ago, and I feel like he got injured a little bit last year.
We got a lot of people off guard. Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, we all took Missouri in that one.
They had a 2-quarterback system too, right? They had a guy that really was the passer, and then you had Daniels come in, who was the passer or runner, but dominantly runner.
Yeah. That's a while ago. I don't remember that.
It is
yeah. Let's see. Next one. John was supposed to have Oklahoma State versus Oregon. We've had some banter back and forth between the coaches on how much they are paying for their rosters. I just simply that alone, I think Dan Lanning takes things personal, probably way more than he should. But I can see an Oregon just absolute blowout.
Yeah,
in this game, just from 30,000 foot view.
What do you say about Colorado? They do this for clicks or something, and
yeah,
something like that. He ain't doing this for clicks. I think Dan Lanning is the real deal, and could this be the year?
I mean, it's always a maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, I don't see what you could buy a ticket right now for this game for $21.
Ooh.
So
you just got to get a $700 flight out there, but yeah.
Right.
Who's the quarterback? They got a good transfer quarterback, didn't they?
They took Dante Moore away from UCLA.
Dante Moore is going. He's no slouch.
No, I mean he's a 5-star, top 3 quarterback in his recruiting class. So I mean, but yeah, and
I think
Oklahoma State won 27-7 in their
Mhm.
opener over UT Martin.
Ooh.
They have a transfer quarterback from TCU. Oh well, yeah. Okay, never mind. He broke his foot.
Hey.
Zane Flores, a third-year freshman who redshirted his first season and got a medical hardship last year, is their quarterback. So
That's crazy.
all right. So hammer the over of 55.5, and the spread is 27.5 in favor of Oregon.
Yeah. Well, if you're taking that over, you got to take. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you can take the spread. Yeah, take the spread too.
So yeah, I think all 3 of us got Oregon in that one. I think that one was pretty easy before I even read that their backup third-year freshman quarterback was there. So we'll flip next one. This one is one of my South Florida versus Florida. I really liked South Florida week 1. I took them to beat week 0 or whatnot whenever they played Boise, and that was a good win for them. And I really wanted to pick them this time. I went with Florida because it's at home. It killed me. Florida's a 17.5-point favorite. They demolished Long Island in week 1. Florida's offense was very balanced last week. He had 251 yards passing, 200 yards rushing. So, I mean, I don't think I want to take USF. I don't think they'll win, but I think this will be a great game, and I think that they will cover that 17.5.
Yeah. I think this is going to speak to the hype around DJ Lagway. Is he really going to – is it Lagway or Lagway?
Lagway.
Lagway. It's going to speak to the hype of him if he's going to really be the real deal. Is he going to lead this Florida team through the gauntlet that is the SEC? South Florida will be probably one of the better teams that's in the non-conference that they play that will have a pretty dominant defensive line. And their secondary is pretty good. They showed that against Boise State. I mean, Boise State couldn't get anything going.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did look like they had something going, defense made a shift, made a change wherever they needed to, and they put a stop to it. I think South Florida has a chip on their shoulder. They want to show that they are not just the little brother of Florida. I know you got Florida State, Miami, but I think South Florida is like, hey, they don't belong in that same talk just yet, but they want to make some noise and say, hey, we're going to give you a dog fight. And I think they will end up winning the dog fight because I'm just not fully invested in or bought into Lagway yet. So,
yeah, I mean, I like South Florida's coach too, Alex Golish. He's very smart. I like his offense. I've caught on to him over the last couple of years, but I just think he takes enough risk to win big games. Like he's not afraid. Like you saw with that fake punt touchdown pass last week where they snuck this backup quarterback in for that. So I mean, he's not afraid to take a risk to win a game and throw that out there.
Those teams that have nothing to lose and everything to gain from this game, like they gained a lot last week. They got momentum. So if you just put up a fight against Florida, they're going to be seen as a team that could go on a run and make a push for either a big bowl game or that last spot in or one of those at larges, like I said about JMU. So when you play those kind of teams, Florida better be ready. So
yeah, most definitely. I think this is going to be a fantastic game down there. So me and John took Florida. You took the USF upset. I still really wanted to take it.
Yeah,
but I'm going to stick with Florida. I'm not going to flip flop. Next one, Arizona State travels to Starkville to play Mississippi State, the 16th best rated team in the SEC. You had that one. Let us know what's going on down there.
Yes, I think this is going to be the tour for the Devils. The Sun Devils are going to make this their year 2 of making the college football playoffs, and this is the push to start it right here. Kenny Dillingham is a really good coach. I feel like he is going to lead this team with their same quarterback from last year in Levitt. They got probably who would have been their best receiver last year, but had that injury, or who would have been a star in that college game other than their running back Cam. I think Jordan Tyson is going to be a stud this year. I mean, he had 12 catches for 141 yards, 2 touchdowns last week. Yes, you're not going against the best competition, and yes, that score does not look great. I mean, North Arizona, it was 38-19. It's a weird score. But then again, you never know. Could have been one of those games where he didn't play the whole time, but Levitt did go out there. He looked like he almost hit 40 yards passing. So I think they have a scheme. They have an identity. And so does Mississippi State. They have a scheme. They have an identity. Their quarterback threw for 33 passes. And, I mean, both of them are going to air this ball out. And I think it's going to fall on the receivers in the secondary. So who has the better of the two? Is it going to be the Sun Devils with their receiving core, or is it going to be Mississippi State with their defensive secondary? So I think this is going to speak more into the secondary than it will on the trenches. Kind of vice versa to, I think it was the other game I was speaking on, Louisville and JMU, where it's all about the trenches with us in that one. I think this game is going to be more on the hands of the quarterback using his legs, throwing the ball to his stud receiver in Tyson, getting other players involved. But, I mean, Levitt went for almost, he went over 300 yards in total offense with 257 passing, 73 rushing. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. So, they got an identity, and let's see what they do against Mississippi State. It's going to be a hostile environment. It's a night game in Starksville, but I just don't think anybody in Mississippi is bought into what Mississippi State is doing. But they could turn it around with this upset. I just think it's going to be the Sun Devils tour this year to show why they need to be in the college football playoff again.
Yeah, coming off the heels of their win last week, I think that place is going to be rocking. Because I mean, they did go on the road, albeit it's Southern Miss, but I mean, we talked about that one. You brought over the Marshall coach. He had his quarterback. That was, they put up a good fight. But I mean, they came out slinging. They put some points on the board. They were throwing that ball around. I could see them doing the same thing. That offense is going to be much more air raid passing oriented. And Shapen looked good coming off that injury from last year. So I think they're going to be better than probably what was put out there.
Yeah.
But we all three took Arizona State. So we can flip from that one. Good analysis on that one. Let's see. The probably high, marquee game of the weekend, Michigan at Oklahoma. You got Underwood going on the road for the first time in a college environment. Oklahoma, I believe they won last week. I don't remember who they played, but this is a big time game. Who do you got? We'll just go with that one. I didn't have any notes for this one.
I think Bryce Underwood. I mean, this is his game to show again. Another quarterback, he has a lot to prove. 5-star guy. I mean, Michigan spent $9 million. What is it? Allegedly, they spent $9 million for this guy. So he has to go out and do it. And this is the game to show, hey, I'm worth that $9 million against Oklahoma. I got Michigan winning it. I think they will bounce back. I'm not a fan of Michigan. I think they should have lost their title. They should have lost all the games they won because they legitimately cheated. And it really came out and showed word for word and what they did, action for action of what they did, and they cheated. Still get to keep a championship is beyond me. And we still got, a 2013 banner that needs to be in the rafters. So kind of one of those F the NCAA over that one. But I won't let that hold a grudge on this game. I don't know if Oklahoma's there yet. I think Michigan's going to be ready. I think Michigan has the better quarterback in this matchup. And he needs to go out there and prove why he's the $9 million 5-star quarterback, whether he's a freshman or not. Buddy, you worth $9 million? Go and prove it.
Yeah. I mean, so Oklahoma's quarterback, John Mateer, a Washington State transfer, threw for almost 3,200 yards last year with 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. The man did take 31 sacks last year. That's high.
Yeah.
I mean, last week went for almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. So I think he's an upgrade over Jackson Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a better fit.
Yeah.
I
Is
took
Vanderbilt still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the offensive coordinator from last year is now Mississippi State's head coach. I think Levy was the offensive coordinator. He went there. So, I mean, it looks like they're going to throw that ball around. They played Illinois State 35-3 win last week. So he looked, judging just Mateer stats alone, looked like he controlled the game and their defense showed up. So obviously this will be a test for both of them. I believe. Who did Michigan play last week? New Mexico. They won 34-17.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I went with Oklahoma because they're at home. I think the offense will be a little bit better. I'm not a big fan of Michigan either at all. So, I mean, maybe not for you. It sounded a little bit personal with those points that were being made about them. I don't have the personal hatred behind it.
I haven't liked them since 2013. So,
but yeah, I mean, I got Oklahoma. You guys took Michigan. I think that would be a pretty good game to end off the weekend on.
Yeah.
So let's see. So we got quite a few games where we're different this week.
You got your Vandy and VTech.
Yeah. Last one, Vandy at Virginia Tech. I think we made a mistake last week thinking that South Carolina was playing at Virginia Tech as well. Did not know that was a neutral site game, so I turned it on and I was like, "Oh, we messed that one up." So it's in Blacksburg, ACC Network. Virginia Tech's favored by 1.5. I don't know how I feel about that. Virginia Tech didn't look that good last week. I know South Carolina's obviously a step above Vanderbilt in terms of talent on both sides of the ball. But, I mean, Vanderbilt put up a ton of offense. They almost had 500 yards of offense in week 1.
Probably good. It looks good. His stats look great. 20-25, 3 touchdowns passing. Jesus.
Yeah, and Virginia Tech gave up 328 to South Carolina on Monday. And it's a short week, obviously. Or not Monday. It was Sunday. One extra day or less day of rest. So, I mean, I'm taking Vandy for the road win.
Yeah.
I'm not buying too – I don't want to say I'm buying into the Vandy hype, but, I mean, they came out week 1 and kind of followed up with what they were doing last year. So, I'm taking Vandy. John took Virginia Tech. What about you?
Do I get a mulligan? Because I took Virginia Tech, and – honestly, it's just one of those. I want the ACC to win. I really do. I want one is to look dominant or at least be competitive to be a Power 4 team, Power 4 conference, because we're getting that hate like, oh, you should be a group of 5, make a group of 6. We're really the Power 3. It's like we need to start having these kind of wins. And Vanderbilt 5 years ago, hell, 2 years ago, they were seeing as, oh, this is going to be a runaway for Virginia Tech. But Daniel Pavier, he heard the noise. He's back. Instead of being in the workforce, he's still on the football field. So he still can run the ball. He can still pass the ball. And Virginia's secondary looked god-awful. But as I mentioned in the first episode, I think Virginia Tech is going to be one of – I'm trying to change my opinion, but I think Virginia Tech can be a loss for Louisville because the atmosphere of Blacksburg makes a difference. Coming out to the Inter-Sandman, it makes a difference. Now, this game right here can put into that noise and be like, yeah, we don't care about Inter-Sandman. We're entering this game. So if Vandy comes out there and dogs Virginia Tech, I think Virginia Tech season goes down the drain. I think Drones is going to fold because 2 interceptions, my man, that's bad. But I pick Virginia Tech. Maybe he bounces back to this. This is the bounce back game. So we'll see. This is going to be the make or break, I think, right here for Virginia Tech, 1,000%. This is the make or break game. But they did get this shitty end of the stick. You're starting out first 2 games of the year versus SEC opponents. So
I can't blame any of that but yourself because you scheduled them. You also didn't think Vanderbilt was going to be this probably when you put them on the schedule too.
They probably put this like 5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, that stat line for drones last week is awful. 43% completion percentage. And he threw, the 15 completions he did have was 221 yards. That's pretty good. But I mean, the 2 interceptions, good Lord.
Yeah.
That's
He
pretty
did
bad.
not, and he looked rattled. He looked rattled that whole game.
Yeah. So, I mean, all right. So, yeah, that was in Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech. So that's the end of week 2. Preview games. We'll see how we stack up.
Bounce back week.
Bounce back week. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a rough week 1. I mean, 5 and 6 losses apiece for all of us. That's not the norm, especially coming off week 0. I mean, week 0, we're 1 and 2s. So,
yeah.
Move on. Question of the week. This week, what loss from past seasons still bothers you the most? I see your 2 on here. Mine, I threw in Kentucky's loss to A&M in 2018. Is like a overtime game to them. The only time we played them since they joined the SEC. We would have been 8-0 going into that Georgia game that year, and would have been like a top 5 matchup possibly. That's the only one that can really stick out to me. The football, this is basketball, dude. I'd have a list.
Yeah.
Of them. And so I was like going back and I'm like, which games really just like, and that one, just all the implications and whatnot. If we would have taken in that win, I think it could have, helped tremendously for the resume for the rest of the year. Not to knock, I mean, that year we went to like the Citrus Bowl, I believe, or something like that. So, I mean, we still had a great year. John said both Tennessee losses in 2018 and 2021. And yeah, because those are kind of, back-breaking losses those were our 2 fantastic years over the past, decade. So it's hard to imagine that 2018 was 7 years ago. Because that doesn't feel that long ago. So I see your 2 on here. I'm going to let you go through your 2, but I'm really surprised
what's
not on there.
I will admit I was thinking about last season. What losses from last season?
Okay.
That still bothered me. So I put the 2 losses from last year. The Notre Dame game, it's very understandable. They went on to go to the college football playoffs and championship game, but I think that was a game we should have won. Except for the punt over the snap over the punter's head, the fumble after a 40-yard run by Shuck, the interception that went in between one of our best receivers' hands. I mean, those 3 right there should have flipped it and we should have won because we only lost by 7. I mean, 3 possessions right there. I'm guaranteed we would have scored once, if not twice, in those 3 possessions. So that one really bothers me, and that was such a great atmosphere. First time ever going up to Notre Dame in South Bend, and I mean the fans weren't bad. I mean, I give props to the fans; they weren't bad. They weren't heckling. It was a great atmosphere, like I said, and that loss really bothers me. I did put Stanford on here because who wouldn't that bother after you beat Clemson? You go and lose to freaking Stanford, who had 1 win at the time and now 2 wins after beating us. So yeah, that bothered the hell out of me. But if I'm thinking back overall, obviously the Houston game when Lamar won the Heisman, losing to Kentucky, that was that whole end of the Heisman Trophy year kind of was bad. It left a bad taste in your mouth. Yes, it's great we got a Heisman Trophy out of it, but at what cost? The 2006 year, losing to Rutgers off of the field goal, man, that one burns because we should have been in the BCS National Championship against Ohio State.
So neither of those are the ones I was thinking of.
Which one?
The one I thought of immediately would have been the James Quick step out of bounds yard early at Clemson. And I mean, he makes that. You all go on to score and win. I mean, you are in.
We were number 3. We would have been number 1 in the nation for the first time in school history. So thanks for helping me remember that. James Quick had a lot of blunders that year. He had the muff fumble against Virginia. He had that. I mean, God, dude, James Quick, he did have a heck of a career at Louisville, but his highlights are definitely the jumping out of bounds when you're on 4th down. You literally just had to run through a DB and you would have got the first down, or hell, run past him. Your last name's Quick, so I'm thinking you're pretty fast, buddy. You can run past him. But that was yeah.
That was the one that came to my mind when I was looking at it. I was like, Stanford, Notre Dame. I was like, okay. And then I was like, just immediately click.
Yeah, in my head, I was thinking just last year. But yeah, no, if we're going top 5, that Clemson game is top 5. Rutgers game's top 5. I was losing to Kentucky his Heisman Trophy year. I don't know if that would be a top 5 loss. I'm sure you can throw one of the Miami games in there when we were not supposed to punt the ball to Devin Hester, and we punt the ball to Devin Hester, and he runs back and scores to win. So yeah, I think you can throw a lot of every fan base has those games, but those are the ones that come top to mind for sure. I mean, I can live with a Stanford loss if we won that Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
I can live with that because it's like everybody gets their one blunder. Notre Dame had their blunder against Northern Illinois, and look at them in the college football championship game. Everybody has that blunder game. So I would have dealt with the loss to Stanford if we beat Notre Dame that year.
Yeah. I mean, also just don't lose to Stanford.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's always the goal. Don't lose. So, but it's all good. I think this year, if there's a Brom blunder game, I think that's why I put Virginia Tech on there. But there's not really a game. Maybe at Miami, if we beat Miami and then come back and lose to Boston College, that can be a blunder game for us. Clemson, after Clemson, we play at SMU. That's not a blunder because SMU's really freaking good. I'd say the other blunder would be losing to Kentucky at home. If we beat SMU and then blunder and lose to Kentucky at home. That
depending on how Kentucky's season goes, it could be more acceptable than like if you would have lost last year.
Yeah.
Now, if we have the same year, this year, and you lose, and then we beat you all at the end of the year, yes, I could see it. But if we're 6-6, or even like 7-5 type record or whatnot, it could be more acceptable than normal. But I mean, a rivalry game, it's never acceptable to lose.
It's never acceptable to lose to Kentucky. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. It's a different feel for sure. But never want to lose to them. So let's just not lose. How about that? Let's not lose. Let's go 12-0. Let's go to college football playoffs. Let's beat Oklahoma, or not Oklahoma. Let's beat Ohio State in the national championship and take that, spend money somewhere else, because it'll be a great end to 2025 and kick off to 2026.
Definitely. So I think that covers it. I'll have to know John here to cover his Tennessee losses.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's it. We got a good week 2 preview going down, and NFL started last night.
Good game.
Cowboys. So we now have 5 months of football.
No hot Tua going around here. That's crazy. Bro didn't even play one snap. And that's got it. I don't know if it's bad blood or just he's a dipshit for doing. I don't know.
Dude's a pretty big dipshit. I mean,
that's crazy, bro. That's spit on him. You can swing, you can hit after a whistle. Both those are bad to do, but you spit on somebody, that's not it, man. That's horrible.
It's doing too much too soon. Like, I mean, come on now. It's the first. You ain't even snapped the ball.
Yeah.
And this is going on. So I mean,
I think it's what happens when it's a bully ball. That's one of those bullies. Like, he thinks nobody's gonna do anything to him. He's big and bad. He's Jalen Carter. Like, all right, bro. All it takes is that stepping up to that wrong one.
Yeah. And also, let's not do it in front of the ref.
Yeah,
standing right next to you. So.
When you're in play and you're on top of him after you're sacking him, and you get up and just so happens to look like you spit. I'm like, no, man, I was just like, whoo, and it came out. You legit walked up to this man, ref standing right here, and spitting. That's stupid and selfish.
Lucky they didn't lose the game.
Yeah.
So if CeeDee Lamb could catch a damn ball. So, but that's it, listeners. Thanks for tuning in for this one, and we'll be back next week.
Go Cards, baby.
Go Cats. Let's pull an Ole Miss upset this weekend at home.
Take care of them Dukes. BTA. BTA.